Hello, this is Executive Recap on the network service of the NTA. In case you missed the previous edition, this is a weekly program giving you some more opportunity to catch up with happenings within Nigeria's highest corridor of power in the preceding 7 days. And so, this edition is yet again loaded. Thanks a lot for joining us. I am Musbah and Wahab. In the outgone week, a lot of voices sounded, particularly from the presidential villa against the planned protest scheduled for August 1. Part of the voices are those of leaders under the umbrella of the National Council of Traditional Rulers of Nigeria, appealing to Nigerians to deeply consider the possible implications of such agitation on the social and economic life of the general public and shelve the looming protest. It was after their meeting with President Bola Tinubu at the State House on a day the president had a series of strategic meetings. The state of the nation demands strategic decisions and urgently too. Hence, the crucial engagement of President Bola Tinubu with various groups of leaders. First was the interface with governors on the platform of the All Progressives Congress (APC). The outcome of this meeting was yet to be released as at the time of filing this report. And then a bigger one with traditional rulers from across the country under the umbrella of the National Council of Traditional Rulers of Nigeria. The president leveraged on this institution to update the citizens on his various policies and programs aimed at turning around the economy of the country. That include the immediate measures to ameliorate the hardship in terms of food shortage and the rising cost of living. And the president is asking for patience from the citizens to allow manifestation of economic policies he believes would impact positively on the lives of Nigerians. President Tinubu expressed his respect for the legitimate right of the citizens to air their views, but his concern is the possible ulterior motive of some people behind the protest, which he said could negatively affect Nigerians and their means of livelihood.
Stewardship from the Federal Executive Council directly to the traditional rulers. It has never happened in our nation before, never. This is the first time we're all experiencing it. People that are out there to maybe protest, it's their right, civic right. But let them put a face to it and don't let it be hijacked by people that has ulterior motive. That is our stand. We condemn such acts fully. We traditional rulers are not engaged in people, especially the youth, coming out to start looting, to start breaking down law and order. We are parents, we are traditional rulers, we are closer to them. We are going to go back home and continue to engage them.
The message we're taking back to our people is to be calm, to exercise patience, and also to listen to the words of wisdom coming from the traditional rulers, from the governors, because we have spoken to the president and he has given us the blueprint of what he has been doing over time, and we're hopeful, that inshallah it will be well.
Hearing from Mr. President directly, I can see the passion. But at the same time, I think the government is finally understanding we are at a precipice. Our youths are our future. And I think today we've demonstrated that the government or the officials, we do have the heart of the nation in our minds. We will listen to our youths because the lead, the future, the power, the strength of Nigeria is certainly with the young people. We feel your pain. Go home. Let's continue to strive the best that we can. and continue to work with the government to see if we can proffer some solutions. I think that that would be best rather than to destroy property or injure ourselves.
The president also received the Council of Ulamas who came to relay the message of their followers.
We have taken up what people are saying about the hardship, the insecurity, and what have you. And Alhamdulillah, the president listened to us. We are appealing to both Nigerians, Muslims and Christians, that they should be patient. Inshallah, a result will come out.
He identified with Nigerians and their suffering, and he assured that it is for good. In the interim, he has promised more intervention to, ameliorate the seeming suffering of the people. And in the days to come, he promised that Nigerians will see the result of all of these sacrifices.
The groups of leaders were unanimous in their belief that the current administration needs some time to deliver the gains of its policies and programs. All right, meanwhile, President Bola Tinubu had earlier appealed to Nigerians, particularly the youth, to keep faith and believe in the ability of his administration to transform Nigeria to an enviable height so desired by the citizens. The plea came through the Information and National Orientation Minister Mohammed Idris after his meeting with the President right here at the State House. Speaking on the state of the nation, the minister says the president is fully aware of the situation in the country and working hard to turn around the social and economic situation for the good of all Nigerians.
Mr. President has asked me to, again, inform Nigerians that he listens to them, especially the young people that are trying to protest. Mr. President is listening to them. He takes what they say seriously and is working assiduously to ensure that this country is good, not just for today, but also for the future. The issue of the planned protest, Mr. President does not see any need for that. He's asked them to shelve that plan. He's asked them to await government response to all their pleas. He has listened to them, like I said, and a lot is happening. The National Assembly has expeditiously passed the new national minimum wage. You can see how the president is working. It was transmitted only yesterday. Today it has been passed. A lot of other interventions that the president has also put in place are also going to be looked at expeditiously in the interest of Nigeria. So there's no need for strike. The young people out there should listen to the president and allow the president more time to see to the realization of all the goodies he has for them.
From the Atlantic across the savannah to the Sahara, we rise, a land of the free, we know they tire. We dream great, our spirit is undying.
Resilient, rooted like palm tree, we swear in colors, we turn dark into light, we bet solutions, we ignite passion, yeah. Ethnicity is unique. We have more than just a nation.
We are Nigeria. We are Nigeria. Strengthened in unity. We know they carry lives. We are Nigeria. We are Nigeria. Together live the dream of a land with great destiny. We are Nigeria.
I am the real Nigerian. Brought to you by the National Orientation Agency, NOA.
Thanks a lot for staying with us on Executive Recap. Attention shifted to other matters as the Renewed Hope Livestock Reforms Committee under the chairmanship of President Bola Tinubu intensified action in its assignments. And the new hope coming from the committee is that Nigeria will have a report implementable towards solving the farmers' headers clash in 2 weeks. Co-chair of the committee, Professor Atahiru Jega, made the commitment after a meeting with President Bola Tinubu of the State House.
The tranches you recommend and promote, I will work with it for the success of this program and the first success of the entire nation. So we will leave a Nigerian flag without stain to our children. Thank you.
2 weeks ago, President Bola Tinubu confirmed the political will of his administration towards finding the lasting solution that has appeared elusive for years to the violent clashes between farmers and herders in Nigeria. The committee long swung into action, and yet again is another demonstration to press home the urgency of purpose. Chairman of the committee himself, President Tinubu met his co-chair, the secretary, as well as the Minister of Agriculture and Food Security. It was a strategic conversation in the topmost office. Returning from the owner of a vision, the committee's mission becomes clearer.
We have received great encouragement by Mr. President, given his recognition of if we get this thing right, we will add tremendous value to so many things really in our country.
Mr. President today has expressed his excitement, has expressed his anxiety, and he's very anxious for this to take off. You are well aware that a new ministry has been created by Mr. President, and he is waiting for the report so that the ministry can take off immediately after the report has been submitted by the committee.
The farmers' herders crisis has grown in complexities over the years, but the committee, with its array of intellectuals, says it is approaching the issues with clear understanding of the sensitivities.
The challenges have been many, and I will not say it is not going to be difficult. It will be difficult, but it is not impossible to actually get it right. And I know that all the members of the committee are focused in terms of ensuring that we get this thing right.
But then, they are certain of the efficacy of their report in the making to rewrite the story of livestock industry in the country.
So Nigerians should expect from our committee recommendations that, if successfully implemented, could add tremendous value in terms of achieving those defined objectives of opening up the opportunities in the livestock sector and also helping mitigate crises and conflicts which are associated with this sector.
I'm sure and I have full confidence that the report will be something that will see results in both the immediate, short and mid-term and even long-term solutions to what we see in the livestock industry now.
President Bola Tinubu, as chairman of the ECOWAS Authority of Heads of State and Governments, also paid attention to sub-regional matters as the three Sahel countries within the West African sub-region are still insisting on their separation from ECOWAS. United Nations Deputy Secretary General Amina Mohammed disclosed this after visiting President Bola Tinubu at the State House. After a long walk away from home, Amina Mohammed is in Nigeria. Working into Nigeria's topmost corridor of power, it is a familiar terrain. She served here in different capacities and at different times. Visiting in a much higher capacity, the Deputy Secretary General of a global body who has been on tour of some West African countries with a delegation has a report for her President and Chairman, ECOWAS Authority of Heads of State and Governments. The United Nations is supporting the ECOWAS in its integration quest within the sub-region, particularly the bid to reconvene the dissenting countries of Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger.
We're telling these countries is that a number of them have a crisis, they have unconstitutional changes, and what they must do is to come back to a transition and a process to democracy. On the other hand, they have to look also at the development paradigm for their people. There is terrorism, but there's also a need to look at jobs, food security, energy. All those also have to continue. Now, if they can display a roadmap that gives everyone some confidence that there is a return to democratic rule, then they will find the support. I believe that in ECOWAS we are a family. Regional integration is at the heart of it. It is what these countries have said.
I will request Mr. Faye.
In addition to earlier moves, the Authority of Heads of State and Governments recently added President Bassirou Diomaye Faye of Senegal to join his Togolese counterpart Faye Singbe in winning back the departing members. But then, with a recent visit, the countries are not ready to back down.
The response from them is that clearly they feel that they have not had the same support of ECOWAS that they envisaged, and a lack of understanding, that in some cases they of course are going to go ahead with their alliance, but at the same time they express their priorities. Their first was security and their fight against terrorism. Their second was investments that they were looking for in certain areas like food security and job creation for young people.
After this, the ECOWAS may have to wait for feedback from their latest emissaries of President Faye Singbe and Diomaye Faye before their next decision. And so President Bola Tinubu has emphasized the importance of sustaining democracy, its norms and institutions, noting that protests are an integral part of democracy, but that no government will condone demonstrations that lead to the destruction of lives and property. The president said this when he received a letter of credence from the newly appointed United States ambassador to Nigeria, Richard Mills Jr. The president also received new envoys from Malaysia and Botswana. Richard Mills Jr. gets a befitting welcome from the Presidential Guards Brigade.
Guard of honor!
The reception is as important as the assignment before him in Nigeria. Lately, Nigeria and the United States of America have initiated measures to further strengthen their ties with the earlier visits of the U.S. Secretary of State and his deputy subsequently. President Tinubu, who acknowledged the relationship between Nigeria and America, which he described as rich, said both countries believe in democracy and freedom. Welcoming the U.S. State Department's acknowledgement of Nigeria's strategic role on the continent as Africa's largest democracy, President Tinubu called on the U.S. government to pay more attention to Africa.
So some of the areas that we're looking at, for instance, are AGOA, African Growth Opportunities Act, which gives African countries the opportunity to export finished products into the U.S. market. And this is something that is to be renewed.
Ambassador Mills affirmed U.S. support for Nigeria's democracy and bigger roles of Nigeria in the international arena, expressing the United States' commitment to expanding cooperation with Nigeria on cybercrimes. The ambassador announced the establishment of a specific office at the embassy to work closely with the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC. President Tinubu also received letters of credence from the High Commissioner of Malaysia to Nigeria, Ayub bin Omar, and the High Commissioner of Botswana, Field Nani Kering. President Tinubu told the High Commissioner of Malaysia that Nigeria would work towards improving the balance of trade between the two countries. President Tinubu acknowledged many Nigerian students studying in Malaysia, adding that Nigeria looks forward to their contribution to the development of critical sector of the economy such as agriculture and ICT.
We have about 4,000 Nigerian students in Malaysia, so it's something that is, very important to us.
In his audience with the Botswana High Commissioner, the President expressed Nigeria's readiness to develop a robust cultural and economic cooperation with a southern African country.
And now, with the creation of a ministry for livestock, we can do more in terms of improving the stock of our cattle, because Botswana stands out when it comes to the issue of cattle and beef exports globally.
High Commissioner Kereng said Botswana is committed to being a leader in the production of livestock vaccines and is prepared to partner with Nigeria in this area. Now to a bit of politics, as President Bola Tinubu received former Senate President Pius Ayim, who recently joined the ruling All Progressives Congress, APC. The former Senate President was led to the State House by Governors Hope Uzodimma of Imo State and Francis Nwifuru of Ebonyi State. President Tinubu warmly received Senator Ayim, who led the Senate from year 2000 to 2003 and later served as Secretary to the Government of the Federation between 2011 and 2015 under the administration of former President Goodluck Jonathan. Senator Ayim says he decided to join the APC in national interest.
But importantly, I have a determination to be sure that the country moves on the right path. And I should be available to contribute my quota. The country is passing through turbulent times, and it is the duty of every patriot. If you have nothing to add, ensure that you contribute to the peaceful atmosphere that will engender progress in the country.
We've been able to do well according to our own understanding and based on our own best of judgment. And that is what is engineering a lot of them to join APC. Like what Mr. President has done in so many areas. Somebody like Pius is not a pushover. He's not somebody that you can say because of money joining APC, or that is hungry, or that is looking for a job like he said. So it's based on the disposition of Mr. President as a leader of the party in our great nation, Nigeria, and the disposition of the governor as a leader of the party in the state, and our own Governor General in Southeast, the leader of the Southeast Governors Forum, Senator Hope, and that is what that makes a lot of them to join APC.
We are excited about it as a zone. We are also excited about it as a nation, and the president, being the leader of the party, is also excited about it. He knows his pedigree, he knows his capacity, he knows that once he believes in a cause, he goes all out for it. So I think it's a very big plus, politically speaking, to our party, to the government of the country under the leadership of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu GCFR. And also arising from there, we use the opportunity to commend and thank him for signing into law the Southeast Development Commission, which he just assented. If you recall, that bill has been there for the past, God knows. Attempts to pass that bill 3 times failed. Under his watch, he finally assented to the bill, which means listening to our cries.
On the state of the nation and the protest being planned by a section of Nigerians, Governor Uzodimma advises those behind the idea to take the peaceful path by bringing their issues to the dialogue table.
And if they have no reason for the protest, I think our advice, we're meaning Nigerians, citizens of this country who are making sacrifices. Some of us have paid the supreme price for the existence of this country. We should guide our country very jealously. I think it is a wrong time for anybody to do any protest, because the implication of doing that, if care is not taken, is that it may be hijacked, like the NSAS experience, where criminals now hijacked and innocently conceived agitation by young Nigerians. So this is another kind of temptation that I think too, that those behind the protest, because they have not been able to come out openly to say they are behind it, there is something that is a motive that is yet to be unraveled.
So I think that we are not in support of the protest. We are not going to support any protest that has no programs, that is not discussed, that nobody knows what the problems. Okay, if you are protesting, what do you want government to do? Because the reason for protest is that they want an issue to be addressed. What are the issues? So in my view, I think there is no need to overheat the polity, overheat our environment, and put our people in a position that the hardship that is occasioned by economic recession all over the world is further worsened.
And that has been Executive Recap for this week on NTA. Thanks a lot for watching it. Join us again next week for a fresh package of the program. I am Musbal, then Wahab.